yo, in a bottle of rum. Oh, that squeaky chair. Oh, that squeaky chair. I love the squeaky chair. I got to get me a new chair. But what's up, everybody? It's your boy, MM2K, back again with another episode of Stadia live session. This is the live session where I talk to you. We highlight your comments because you are what matter here. And we talk about the latest and greatest in Stadia related news. And then we get your thoughts on it, right? And we're going to get a lot better at this as far as letting your thoughts out instead of me rambling. Shout out to the homie. Hold on, let me do something real quick. The homie Cold as Ice is in the house. I'm not completely set up yet. I had a family, I don't want to say a family emergency, but I had something going on with the family today, and that's what threw me off from being able to do this at 11:15 when I originally wanted to do it. Because here's what I wanted to do, y'all. Cloud Gaming Dad in the house. Good to see you, good brother, as always. And check out Cloud Gaming Dad. Hey, CGD, do me a favor, brother. Put a link to your channel here. Or if you want to wait until we get more people in, how about we do that? Look, man, Cloud Gaming Dad is on a tear. He's tearing it up. He's doing some great things. We're going to have an opportunity to work with the brother, because he got some of the best damn content out there, and it's an honor to be able to work with him in the future. So what I want everybody to do is definitely follow him. The same with Collins Dynasty. Shout out to Collins Dynasty. Give it a few moments. Let the room fill up a little bit, y'all. And Collins and CGD, I would like for you guys to drop links to your to your channels there. And then if Lukey can come in too. I don't know if Lukey ends up coming in rather. Once it like I'm doing roll call. If Lukey comes in as well, these are great content creators. Definitely honored to be working with these guys in the near future. More to come on that later. But yeah, man, shout out to everybody. I want to shout y'all out and get y'all on the screen. So let me do this real quick. I'm going to tweet this out. Let people know that we're live because I was supposed to go live at 11:15. That didn't happen. Family drama. And the thing about me, y'all, let me see. Come join us now. I'm gonna see these announcements. Come join us now. I'll put come join us now. I don't do the drama. I know people are like, what? You're MM2K. They consider you the most toxic in the Stadia community. And that's silliness. Because number one, y'all don't, as far as this community is concerned, y'all don't know toxicity. Not saying that bad stuff hasn't happened, but y'all don't know true toxicity. Like, there's a difference between a spill and a toxic spill. A messy spill, you clean up, you go about your business. A toxic spill, you got to put so much effort in, and it's like you can never get the stench out of it. We don't kind of have those spills over here. There's a group that's rambling about X, Y, and Z, and they sound like the flat earthers or the people that was telling you that the Y2K was going to destroy the earth. And then you got another group that is like everything Stadia is marvelous and beautiful, and don't criticize them at all. And I think the two groups feed off each other, and then somewhere in the middle is the rest of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, those two groups are on the periphery, and they make up the minority of the community as a whole. The rest of us are caught in between this rhetoric from both sides. And you can be positive about the platform. You can, have some apprehension about some stuff and still not be in those extremes. What make you in those extremes is, yes, the platform is going away. Here, I got to prove it to you every day. And, oh no, the platform is beautiful. It's here to stay forever and ever. And if you say anything negative about anything related to Stadia, shame on you. Let's drop the grenades to your face and pull the pin. And again, in the middle of that is the rest of us who generally, after polling a bunch of stuff we see, that the general consumer that interacts with Stadia is happy with it. They may have some concerns, they may not. You know, they may want to discuss those concerns or may not. But the majority of us, instead of we're spending time playing Stadia. And after we play Stadia and we enjoy it, or we think about the experience, then we stumble upon the inner goings of the internet and Twitter, and that's when things go awry. So it's not that we're toxic here. It's we want truth to reign supreme so people can make the right purchasing decisions. I can't help it that if your best friend rambles about something that ain't true, if we put them to task and we say, hey, you need to prove that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're talking from a certain position where people may take what you're saying as researched information opposed to rhetoric. You need to prove that. I think you need to prove that. Okay, if you feel some type of way that your friends have been challenged or somebody that you like has been challenged, so now you feel that's toxic, you're leading yourself down an imaginary path. It's not toxic. You're gonna just when cloud gaming becomes the norm, you will understand toxic, and just by attrition, 90% of you will be gone. That's the truth. 90% of you will be gone. So look around you in the chat. 9 out of every 10 of you will be gone. Because I see the things that get people worked up here, and you guys will not want to be involved when you got to deal with a J-Dubs, a Porter Rock, a Showstopper, a Tim Dog on a regular basis. You're not going to want to do it. You're going to go back to where you came from before Stadia came. And that was the thing, the beauty of Stadia, is that Stadia was kind of on its own separate aisle from a lot of that, but it's not going to stay there forever. Enjoy these years while you can, because I'm here to tell you 90% of you will be gone. And that's not me being toxic. That's me taking the data. That's me taking the trends and understand women lie, men lie, numbers don't lie. I'm a trends guy. I'm sorry. I speak right down the middle. I don't play to your emotions. If the reality of something is opposite of your emotions, you're going to get reality from me 10 out of 10 times. So, just understand what the platform is. But the definition of toxic here, wow, wait till cloud gaming becomes mainstream. Let me see here. Let me tweet this out. But shout out to the people in the community. I love y'all dearly. Those that truly support the platform. I mean, I think we showed you guys the other day with our Twitter Spaces how somebody or if you truly do support the platform, how you can air your grievances. I think we did a good job at showing that the other day. I mean, we basically came out and talked about 60 frames per second and said, hey, look, this is a concern. So it's a concern for a key demo of your player base. And this could have long-term ramifications. And we got people to talk about it, all this other. We didn't go, stay there, you're dead, you're doomed. You're dead. We didn't do that. We didn't routinely look for ways to dog the system and make the system look like that it's at the bottom of the barrel when it's at the top. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be different if when we looked at tracking, when we looked at data, when we looked at trends, that Stadia was at the bottom. And all this technology, all this potential, that was at the bottom. It was the bottom of trending. It was the bottom of you. It's not at the bottom. Can I say it's at the tippity top as far as usage is concerned? No. I mean, if I was a betting man, with all the data and stuff like that I've been able to see and comb through, I would say that GFN gets more uses. I would say that it's up in the air if GFN has more paid subscribers I don't know about that. I would probably tip my hat to Stadia having more paid subscribers, maybe. But GFN gets more uses, and from the PC crowd that when they're away from their rigs, that's the trending use there. And it's growing, and it's and that's good. That's good for the platform. They said that's what their purpose is. That's their goal. That's their aim, to be the platform that you play when you're away from your PC. And they're reaching their target demo. But again, with all this rhetoric and with all this stuff that's going on out here, I would understand if Stadia was dead last. You know what I'm saying? Like when we looked at engagements and everything Stadia related was boo-boo, as we say in these gaming streets. It was boo-boo. It's not. But yet we get this constant talk as if it is. Did I integrate the chat? No, I did not. I'm trying to get this chat connected. There we go. All right. Let's do this. All right, so now let me shout y'all out and see if it'll pop up on the screen. We got Ray. We got Ray the Cyborg in the house. We got Charles around in the house. Now, like I said, my brother, Cold as Ice, he says, what's good? What's going on, Cold? Hey, bro, stay tuned. Hey, Cold, I don't know if you're into JRPGs, but I'm going to get that Tales of Arise, bro, on PlayStation 5 and play it there later today. So, stay tuned there. Dev the Gamer in the house. We got Cloud Gaming Dad. Yes, with the thumbs up. Collins Dynasty. Hey. We also got Rose Gaming in the house. Good afternoon, all. And now your mama knows what are your the most topic. I didn't understand that one, good brother. Maybe try that again. Randy B. So why did I just pop up like that? What's going on, man? Good to see you. We got Geek to Sneak in the house. Let's see who else we got here. Did I miss anybody? No. Do us a huge favor. Tweet this out. Let everybody know that we are live. We are live. We are live. So what I got planned today, y'all, real quick, is I'm gonna do some gaming. I gotta go pick up the wife. So I'm gonna pick her up. Then I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna do some Division 2 because we got a Division 2 class. Yeah, let me show y'all that. Oh, Google Docs. Come on, hold on, Google, because I can't show y'all the site right now because it's down. Google Forms. Thanks to Yola. Yeah, I gotta call them out live on air. I gotta do that. And it's not me being toxic. I know, like, you're toxic. Why are you calling them out live on air? I've been dealing with Yola since, I want to say since 2008 or 9. Me and my brother and another friend of ours, we started a website called The New Age Faction. It's actually still up. There hasn't been nothing added to it for like 9 years. But out of nostalgia purposes, I still pay for the website. My brother said, man, close that stuff and save your $19.99 a year. But anyway, we got a site called The New Age Faction. It was a derivative of our prior efforts from a group that we started called Mindbenders. And we were on MySpace. Heavy. So when MySpace started to go the way of the dodo bird, we came up with a website, New Age Faction. It's still out there. We got a New Age Faction 2.0 and a 1.0. Crazy stuff out there too. If you want to get some receipts on MM2K and some of the zany skits and all the stuff that I used to write, you'll read that and then you'll say, oh, now it makes sense. This guy has always been a lunatic. Check it out. Great stuff. By the way, yeah, but New Age Faction is what it's called. Check it out. Anywho, so we also had a group called the Old Dirty Blasters from that era. And before I get to Old Dirty Blasters. So I've been with Yola for a long time, hosting that website. They did what they needed to do. As other websites like GoDaddy and stuff like that started to progress and make usage via WordPress and stuff easier, Yola really never caught on fire. It's starting to improve as of late, but it's too late. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else has moved on to WordPress, stuff like that. They don't want to deal with Yola. We are making enhancements. Well, the biggest thing for us is that we have partner programs starting where we're working with people and we're asking them, hey, would you like to partner with us? And we're trying to make sure that they are fully recognized for the time that they are indulging with us. And Yola just wouldn't support that effort. They kept promising, oh yeah, that's something that's on our radar for us to, be able to support that, underline it, and they haven't. So we moved on to GoDaddy. And that conversion has been a pain in the rear end. Let me do this. I'm trying to get. Let me just get the Stadia people up. I'm not gonna get everybody up. Let me just get the Stadia people up on that we're live right now. Gaming group. While we're waiting on me to get it together finally, what did you guys think of the PlayStation event? Just out of curiosity, what did y'all think about that? Let's highlight that just for a couple minutes, and then we're gonna get into these topics. What did y'all think about the PlayStation event? I thought, while we're waiting for your answers, I thought that it was cool. I liked it. I gave it like a 7.7 out of 10. I didn't give it an 8 or not. And I'm thinking now that I'm revisiting it, I might give it like an 8 out of 10. Only because, as you guys may all know, I've forgo gaming on Xbox altogether, and as far as my console needs are concerned, I've converted over to PlayStation. Being that cloud is the main way, and Stadia via the cloud is the main way that I'm going to game. I really didn't want to be doing what I normally do and investing a lot of money on native hardware. Now, I did get a 3070 card, and I did upgrade my PC in some significant ways, but that was mainly for streaming and to heighten my Stadia experience, really. As far as consoles were concerned, the only one that caught my eye because of just their pedigree was PlayStation, right? So I go to PlayStation, I get a PlayStation 5 day one, knowing that, shout out to Clive Linden for becoming a member. Thank you, good brother. Thank you so much. Hold on, I'm gonna highlight you in a little bit. He caught me right when I was trying to tweet this stuff out or send this stuff out. Come on, hold on. Where's the beef? Okay, there we go. Here goes that. And then I'm gonna go to, okay, there we go. All right, so put that back up there, and then go to my doesn't have my brother up there. Okay. So with that said, folks, I liked the PlayStation event. I thought it was cool. I really appreciated it. And I knew that with my PlayStation 5, the only things that I would be playing first off would be, Jesus, I forgot the name of this game. So that's the God something, whatever the hell that's made by Gearbox, God Hammer or whatever. I said I would play that game, and God of War, and what's it called when it came out. And then if there were AAA or if there were multiplats that didn't come to Stadia, I would get them there if I couldn't utilize them via GFN. You know what I'm saying? Like, GFN was my first backup. So if I could get it on GFN and it played well on GFN, I would get it for PC. But if it wasn't there for PC, I would get it for PlayStation. I was going to do that with Tales of Arise, but it's not on GFN. And the reason why I'm thinking about it that way is because I want the most mobility out of my games. Now, now my experience with GFN is spotty. And I know a lot of people have that experience. I know a lot of people feel like it's flawless and it's great for them, and that's fine. I'm not doubting their experience, but I just know more often than not, I'm coming across people that are sharing the sentiments that I'm having. Like, okay, there's ray tracing and there's 1,000 games, but it's spotty game to game. There's a lot of artifacting and ghosting and stuff like that, and the latency factor just isn't, when it's like when it was kind of like my argument with the 60-30 frames thing. Like, I find it funny that when I was talking about 60 frames with Storm, there were a lot of Stadia naysayers that were liking what I had to say, and that a boy MM2K. And my argument was, once you're consistently going 60, it's hard to go back to 30, right? So they can understand that, but what they can't understand is when it comes to cloud gaming, once you have the level of unrecognized, or the level of, or the lack of latency and the performance that you get out of Stadia, it's hard to go to these other platforms, even if they got more games. You know what I'm saying? So the same applies. When you've upgraded your experience, it's hard to go back for a lot of people. We used to game in 720p as gamers like it was nothing. We used to love 720p and thought it was the greatest thing in the world. I remember I had a TV called Olivia, and it was a 720p, 120 hertz flat screen. One of my first flat screens that I've ever had. And I remember gaming on that thing, and I thought it was the best thing ever. If I were to game on that right now, I would probably throw up. I can't do something. You know what I'm saying? It's that's just the normal progression that people go through when it comes to technology and visual technology, right? So just something to think about. When people get all riled up and happy about the 60 frames per second conversation, like, yeah, see, shame on you, Stadia, right? And they want to pat you on the back for that, but on the same token, they can't understand why people don't want to deal with the other platforms. Not because Stadia is giving them a check, but the technology is so great, they feel like they're downgrading going there. And it doesn't. And to me, like, I always make this comparison. I'm a Ruth Chris steak type of guy. I'm not a country and buffet type of guy. I'd rather have a nice, well-prepared steak, one side, you know what I'm saying, one dessert or whatever, opposed to 30 to 40 dishes that all taste like cauliflower, except for the sesame chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the type of gamer I am, and I know a lot of people like that. It's value over volume, or it's quality over quantity, So, and I'm not here to attack anybody that is the quantity gamer, but what we need is our quantity gamers to stop discrediting our quality gamers. All right. So I think I've tweeted out everything. I want to give out some extra shout outs before we get started. El Boogie's in the house. He says, I think it was what PlayStation's fans needed. And your mama knows, said 8 out of 10. Collins Dynasty said fire. Geek to Sneak said, meh, GT7 was the highlight for me. Oh, wow. Kessel Runner, what's up? Victor Del Maestro, hiya. Dev the Gamer says, I just finished watching it. Interesting in 3 titles, which are Project Eve, Forspoken, and Ghostwire Tokyo. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that, Vic. That might be like a Twitter Spaces that we might do. Oh man, I mean, me and my brother Akash, I would love for Akash to join the Twitter. I'm gonna reach out to Akash. Everybody let Akash know I'm gonna reach out to him. I want to do a Twitter Spaces with him about this. See, this is how you have conversations with differences of opinions. Not know, oh man, you're trying to make anybody that doesn't agree with you look bad and make it seem like we're nefarious. No. Let's have differences of opinions. Let's talk them out. And let's not be so defensive because someone doesn't agree with our opinion. Like, I had a conversation earlier with my mother about one of my siblings. And I said, Mom, it's not that I agree with what they're saying, but you got to consider the source. Like, we because of the state of mind of this sibling, we might want to take a different approach. Oh, no. I'm like, no. Stop it. They're already in their emotions. You can't get in yours. You're a mother. I need you to be better at this so we don't send them off the deep end. You know what I'm saying? Just because they have a difference of opinion than you doesn't mean that we got to go on the attack and make it seem like that because they don't agree with you, they're bad. You know what I'm saying? So we can have these conversations. We can have conversations with people that have differences of opinions. You know what I'm saying? And you have the right to decide, hey, look, I don't want to entertain certain notions because there's no fact around it. And that's okay, as well. But this whole thing, oh, you don't agree with what I said and you called it out, so therefore you're evil. That's not the case. I had a conversation with my good friend LaVon Kaysen. LaVon called me out live on air. Y'all heard it if y'all were listening to the spaces, where I was on my 30 versus 60 frames per second rant, and LaVon, who is also a content creator, shout out to LaVon Kaysen, he said, hold on, MM2K, the original game wasn't in 60. What are you complaining about? Then I go, kick him off this spaces. How dare you? No. This is social media. Wait, hold up. Wake up call. Look, you know what? I want to introduce something. First and foremost, I haven't done formal introduction, so let me be a little bit of a show off here. Do me a favor. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. And rock those bells for notifications, please. All right. And if you haven't known already, I am MM2K of the PNTS network. Okay. So let's do something like this. Let's do a little something like this. Okay. Welcome to. Let's do this. So I feel like I got to do this now. Welcome to the KRZ. What is the KRZ? The KRZ is the Keep It Real Zone. This is for now. I'm gonna get a new badge alongside of the Stadia 100. We're gonna get a Keep It Real Zone badge. We're gonna keep it real here. We're gonna talk facts. We're gonna pivot our educated guesses off of facts. And if there are notions out there that are not pivoting off of facts, and people get called out so they're not disseminated to the unsuspecting gamer, I don't think that's call for people to go berserk. I don't watch plenty of shows. I done seen plenty of conversations where notions that I've talked about have been, deep, or I don't want to say debunked, but they've been debated. And I haven't even jumped in them. It's just like, whatever. Great to have those conversations. It's just, I know a lot of people question the veracity of these conversations when everything is doom and gloom. It's like, why even partake in the community? Why even claim to be part of the community if everything is doom and gloom? If every time I went to a restaurant, I was like, Jesus Christ, this hamburger is horrible. Jesus Christ, only thing, and they make the hamburger the same regardless of what I say when I come in there. Why do I keep going there? What's the point? What's the purpose? And I can't sit there and say, well, you know what? I like their buns. You know what I'm saying? I like the water there. Ask them where they get the buns and go take them elsewhere. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to change the recipe for you. They don't feel like you're the target. So that's where a lot of people are coming from when they question these motives, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? Just something to think about. But it's okay to have conversations, differences of opinions, and be community-based. What separates it from being community-based is when every comment or the circumference of your thought process is, this is not going to last. It's done for. That's like me being part of a community. If I complain, oh, there's too much litter out here. Come on, we got to do something about this litter. That's one thing. But if I come out here and I'm in the community. I'm like, there's too much litter out here. This place is going to hell in a handbasket. It's horrible. This is the worst community to be in. It really is. Am I going to get a warm reception? Or people going to be like, okay, as a pillar of the community, MM2K, he's a good guy. You know, he's not nefarious in any type of way. Or his opinions are you know, just coming from they just appear to be polarizing. They're coming from XYZ state of mind. That's all. No, people are going to frown upon me. That's just the way social media works. And my response can't be, well, I still live here. You know what I'm saying? These are the type of, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is these are the type of things, community, that we got to think about before we start going out here and victimizing people that rebut notions. My notions are rebutted all the time. And I've taken a stance as of late to where I'm less and less active on social media. I'm more and more playing games, creating content about the games that I'm playing. And we're going to be doing more and more of that, okay? All right, I've babbled enough about the state of the community. Let's talk about the state of these topics. Shout out to the brother, hold on, what is going on here? Shout out to my good brother CGD. He says, it's only doom and gloom if you spin it to be so. Oh. And your mama knows says, that's my point with it, with being hard to go back. Exactly. That's just the way technology works. So people don't need to be offended. Like when some people say, you know what, Stadia doesn't work for me. I'm not offended. It's just that when they say, you know what, Stadia doesn't work for anybody. It's just trash all the way around. No. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. The majority of people that interact with Stadia don't feel that way. The majority of people that interact with Stadia versus other cloud platforms believe that Stadia is the best technically evolved platform. We even had my brother Tim Dog out there. Just like, look, you know what, I'm done. I'm gonna put down the flag, the green flag for a second. Stadia got the tech edge. They got it. And even he can come out there and say, yo, the heart is still beating out there. Let's stop being console war for the moment. Let's stop trying to use rhetoric to rile people up. Let's just be honest. The platform still got legs. Now, pretending to be Tim Dog. Tim Dog, do I think that Stadia has a better perspective than xCloud all the way around? No, I still feel like xCloud will in the long run be better because XYZ. That's fine. Just because I like Stadia doesn't mean that I feel that GFN is doomed. Why does it always got to be the reverse? And Stadia right now is at the tippity top. Go look at any engagement number. They're at the top. It's them and GFN. So we have to stop a lot of this foolishness. All right, let's get to the topics. And I want to show off. MM2K, you know you want to show off, so how come you ain't got stuff together? All right, let's talk about it. Topic 1. What am I going to start with? Luna? Yeah, let's talk about Luna. Topic 1. Luna. And for those of you, if you want to support the platform, we're about to show you our new facelift. As you can see, we kind of got some of the new logos out there for PNTS, for Stadia Dosage, and Stadia Dosage Plus. And that's why we haven't been able to do the giveaways that we normally do, because that sucked the money dry. And with us and I'm just being transparent and honest, when me and my wife getting this new house and putting everything down on it, I couldn't grab the credit card like I used to. You know what I'm saying? So anybody wanting to support the platform is definitely going to go to a good cause. Everything that you guys put in goes right back out. None of it to date has gone in our pockets. None of it. All right. It's all been going to give, all the Stadia Dosage proceeds go to promote the platform, improve the platform, do giveaways and stuff like that, and get talent, to bring talent to Stadia Dosage. All that has happened. Victor Del Maestro, speaking of that, Victor Del Maestro said, I hear you e-begging. What is going on? How come? Hold on. Something ain't right. Why ain't it? Super chats ain't showing up. Something ain't right here. Let me do something. Let me close it. Let me bring it back up. Come on, H2R. Don't be a poopity scoopity. All right, let's get back up here. Oh man, no thanks. Let me see something real quick. Oh no, is the chroma up? Yeah, the chroma's still up. We got that right there. Let's go to chat. Let me see if it's still. Oh hell no, that ain't. Give me 1 second, y'all. Shout out to Squid in the house. I see you, good brother. It says live stream chat cannot be found. How is that possible? Now the chat can't be found. Okay. Still saying it cannot be found. Trying to get into these topics, folks. We're trying to do it. Thanks, chat. Here, let me do it like this. Sorry, y'all. Give me 1 second. We're about to get into this stuff. It's just technical difficulties, things like that, but I definitely want to show the super chat from the brother Victor Del Maestro. There we go. All right, super chats, refresh. Still don't want to do it. All right, let me see if I can do it this way. Nope. Oh, I gotta put a new chroma up, I guess. Let me put a new chroma up like so. Let's go right here. My apologies. I'm about to show y'all this. Okay. And Victor Del Maestro. There we go. With the $1.49. This is a hot dog with ketchup. I can dig it. I'm going to show y'all something real quick too. For those of you that are interested, when y'all see me do the Division 2 stream today, check me out on Stadia Dosage Plus, or you can check us out on Stadia Dosage Streams. Come on. And you can actually be part of the clan if you want to sign up for it. Here's how you sign up. Let me go send. Let me give you a link. Let's copy it. That's the link to Old Dirty Blasters. If you're interested in joining the Old Dirty Blasters, go to that link that I'm about to drop right there. Become a part of it. I had a hell of a game with the brother Average the other day. Oh my God. We got a hell of a clan. I mean, you're going to be getting a lot of good stuff. You're going to be getting a great store. So if you're in the Division 2, you want to get back into it, want to play it with some talented gamers, and don't even worry about it. Even if you're not that talented, that's okay. I wanted to make sure that we had talent at first, and we definitely got it. We got too much talent. This talent, and they make me look like a beginner. So definitely sign up. We got 10 more responses. Okay. All right. Sign up, become part of the Old Dirty Blasters, and I'll check those out. I'm gonna go through those responses later today. All right. So with that said, let's do this. Let's get into the topics finally. Topic number 1, let's talk about it, Luna. So for those of you that are aware, Luna introduced couch mode yesterday. There's 2 more games rated for Stadia. Okay. Twisted Barber, the good brother Twisted Barber said, as soon as it pops up, but we got Christopher Torres in the house. He said, yo, listen in. Yes. As soon as our good brother Twisted Barber's comments pop up, I'll put it on the screen too. But let me say this. We know that, okay, so Luna came out and they had a showcase, or no, they came out with some advertising, and they said, look, we got this new couch mode amongst some other things, right? And that's cool and all. That's great. Like, I really like the couch mode. I like the moves that they made. In regards to the new channels, the family-friendly channel and all that other stuff. Shout out to Sean L. Hey, yo, Sean, you ain't lying, bro. He said Average's back was hurting. Yes, it was. He carried us to the promised land. And I think overall, with everything, it was very good implementation and a stealth rollout. And I think, again, particularly that cloud or the couch feature where it's like if there's local multiplayer in a game, and I think it's a game. Now, Jim said it was only the family-friendly games. I don't think it's that. I think it's anything that's in the Luna sponsored channels. So the regular Luna Plus channel and now this family-friendly channel. If there's local co-op in that game, what you can do is send a friend a code and y'all can play that game, like y'all were playing local co-op, even though it's separate. And they call it couch co-op. And that's dope. I think it's a good model feature that we should have in all cloud gaming. I think it's great. And I think it'll help promote cloud gaming over time faster than what it's, if it's implemented correctly with everybody. With all that said, though, the reaction that somehow by itself, or even the cluster of announcements that Amazon has made today or yesterday, equates to Luna leapfrogging Stadia in that number 1 or number 2 slot, wherever they're at, is fantasy. It's pure fantasy. Here's what I want people to do. Give this 2 or 3 days. Right now, Amazon made the most recent buzz. Stadia really has been quiet. They had a big twos, but that was earlier in the week. They kind of been quiet, particularly the latter part of this week. So give this a few days. Go back to the tracking and check the engagements. I'm even willing to bet, even if you go back to the tracking in a few days and you see the engagement, still favoring Amazon. Because here's why I say it's fantasy. You gotta show me the engagement numbers. Like if Amazon had doubled or quadrupled, like over a consistent week, month's time, or even the day of that announcement, if they had severely slaughtered engagement over Stadia, then I would be like, oh wow, yes, here we go, all right. And I'm not somebody that's feels some type of way about that. Like, I don't get a check from Google, so I don't care. If somebody's doing something better than Google, I look at it as a plus, because that's just going to force Google to have to do better. And me and Storm talk about this all the time. I don't think we're seeing more 4K 60. I think we're running into the issue of more 30 games per second options than 60 than some of us may like. The not knowing when the software-based ray tracing or what's going on with that. I think a lot of that we see is because as far as Stadia's direct competition, which I feel is Amazon, like I don't feel like anybody else is providing what they're providing like Amazon, like GFN and Xbox said that they are conduits of hardware, of the hardware offerings. So that just leaves Amazon and Stadia as the sole cloud platforms. And even at that, Amazon is like a subscription-based platform that they're not working at getting day and date stuff, where Stadia is. But I feel that Stadia is more or less more competition with Amazon than anybody else right now. So when you look, if I'm Stadia and I'm looking at Amazon, I'm looking and I'm like, we ain't got to budge for them, right? So any move that's sustained, that keeps Amazon above Stadia, that doesn't make me. I'm not one of these people. I'm not in one of these people that are in it for a popularity contest. I don't care if more people like Amazon than Google. Until Amazon's performance and their offerings is better than Google's, to me, I'm going to prefer Google. And and it's not going to matter to me, particularly if Stadia is still making numbers. Like, for instance, if I'm an Xbox gamer, a true green Xbox gamer, it doesn't matter to me that PlayStation is more popular. As long as I know Xbox is still solvent, they're still solid, and they'll still be making games, and I like what they're offering, I'm happy. So if we do get to a point to where Amazon is more popular, gets more rotation, I don't care as long as I know Stadia is doing good. But the fact, that threat of Amazon doing better than them is something that's always going to be in the back of their mind. And if that is a reality at some point in time, that's only going to make Stadia better. That's the only thing that made Amazon better. Amazon is only better. They only went radio silent. They only stealth dropped this stuff because they've realized that what they put out there first, just trying to skate off of the hate of Stadia, wasn't good enough. Just being a black and purple Stadia wasn't good enough. So they went back to the drawing board and they said, okay, now we got to separate ourselves. We got to show that we're serious, and we got to show that we're willing to leapfrog them in certain aspects. Like, we deserve some attention too. And they did that yesterday. Kudos for them. But again, to speak in absolutist terms, that this move has leapfrogged Amazon Luna altogether over Stadia, that's fantasy. It's fantasy. And it's not what we entertain here in the KRZ, the Keep It Real Zone. We keep it real here. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. I've seen no engagement numbers that showed Amazon tenfold over Stadia. And as a matter of fact, when you look at the trending, now it's starting to crest and go down. And now you're starting to see Google Stadia slightly go over Amazon. It was a quick high. It was a needed one, but it was a quick high. I don't get the urgency to snuff Stadia out from those who claim that they like the platform. I could come in literally with dried feces on a popsicle stick, an HDMI cord hanging out of it, and I can call it the Cloud Manifesto and say, every time you buy a game from the MM2K Cloud Manifesto, you get a free pack of jelly beans. And you just got a sector of people that will come out and say, so, see, yep. Yummy, yummy for the tummy. The Cloud Manifesto's coming, giving out jelly beans. Stadia, what are you doing? They're dead. Every single thing that somebody does right does not mean that Stadia is wrong. Especially when the equivalent isn't done in reverse. With all the stuff that Stadia was doing, nobody said Amazon's in trouble. They just said, oh, well, we haven't heard from Amazon, which is the truth. And the more and more that we hear this rhetoric and it doesn't happen, you destroy your own credibility. I'm not the boogeyman here. I've been quiet. This is the most vocal that I've been in this regards for a very long time. You are putting acid to your own credibility. I don't have to say anything anymore. It's fantasy. Nothing backs up these claims, these absolutist claims at all. Nothing. And they keep being made and they keep being debunked. I'm not the boogeyman here. So, I will say this. What this did show is that Luna still takes this thing seriously. They still take it seriously. They went back to the drawing board, was quiet, put their heads down, did the hard work, and pretty much was awarded that opportunity, right? Because people were commenting here and there about, well, we haven't heard anything. But it wasn't the all-out ish fest that you hear from Stadia. I hear about Stadia when Stadia's quiet. You know, you remember when Stadia was radio silent for 60 days and the turmoil, like people, you felt like people, you would have thought people lost their kids because of it. Oh my, I haven't heard from Stadia for 60 days and now I can't find my son. You would have thought Ragnarok hit Earth. The way people were talking. And Stadia was silent for 60 days. 60 days. Well, they weren't super silent, but they didn't have any grand announcements in 60 days. Where Luna's been silent for a year, and they were awarded that opportunity. You had mentionings here and there. We haven't heard anything. Yeah, we really like for them to do something, but it really wasn't hammered in like it was for Stadia. And no, I don't want to hear that beta crap. I've been gaming for too long. I've seen how beta is used as a crutch. The moment you want me to pay for your services, you don't get to hang on to that excuse. What is it that you're giving? What is it that you're offering? Your lack of transparency gets judged. And so does it with Stadia, and that's fair to a degree. But they were awarded the opportunity to go back to the drawing board, come up with some other stuff, some stuff that'll pop and show that they're still serious about it. I think they did a good job at it. Kudos to them. But this thought process that they leapfrogged, I mean, again, number one, I don't see any data that suggests that. Number two, I don't see, I mean, did the lineup get better? I mean, we talk about Stadia's lineup, but Luna's lineup and their offerings, nah, I don't think so. Did the lineup get better? Did, the technology didn't get better. The lineup didn't get better. We don't see anything statistically that's showing this wide blown up gap between engagement between the two. So what are we doing here? Why can't we just give kudos to Amazon for doing a good job coming out, showing signs that there's a competition there after being radio silent, and just give them a pat on the back? I have yet to see, and we've had some great moments in Stadia. I have yet to see a moment where the talking heads have said, you know what? This technology kills everything else. Like, Xbox is in trouble. The fact that the lack of artifacting and stuff and the smoothness, this GFN is in trouble. Or when it comes to a failure, Xbox Series X talked about breaking out these server blades. They had everybody in the world convinced that they were going to blow Stadia's tech out of the water, and it didn't happen. That was a failure. They're in a real bad spot now. I don't see none of that. When we get to a place where we can individually critique or praise these services or products opposite of what's going on elsewhere, and just say, hey, look, they may need to tweak this or tweak that. I don't get this doom and gloom for any of them. You've never heard me. I may talk my stuff. I may say, look, it's trash, or that aspect is boobity boo. I may say some stuff, but I've never said, okay, they're going out of existence. You've never heard that out my mouth as many times as you hear that elsewhere, and for it to continuously be wrong. Never. I say what? It's too early. These are the building years. Data collection phase. You done heard it all from me. But I've never said that, even though I don't touch the other platforms all like that, I don't spread doom and gloom. Hell, we got a platform that filed for bankruptcy, and they're still around. I don't think that it's fathomably it's fathomable to connect logic to any talk of doom and gloom for any of these platforms right now. The evidence isn't there. Again, we got one platform that filed for bankruptcy and they're still around. So my challenge to those that claim that they still love Stadia, they just wanted to do better. Because I just had to say it. I know I haven't even touched the parameters of this for a long time, but I'm going to today. Can we all be good stewards of cloud gaming and realize that that rising tides lift all boats? Like this constant, can y'all do yourselves a 30-day challenge? Just do a 30-day challenge. Let's start there. Do a 30-day challenge. Provide your analysis without speaking of doom and gloom altogether for said platform. Just try it. Trust me. When you follow the evidence and you don't touch the third rails of your emotions that often that aren't attached to the evidence, you start to see the credibility in those realms go up. Try it. It's a good feeling to be like, the words that I'm saying are reliable. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. What I have to say now is reliable. Give it a shot. I can't be the steward of a community if every time I leave my house, oh, this place is going to hell. They're going to bomb it and drop cranes all over it. What do you mean you're not a real steward of the community? Yes, I am, because I still live here. People are going to question, well, what are you still here for? Is it because you don't feel like you're going to get attention elsewhere? Like the audio and the visuals don't add up. Every negative story, or even the collective of them. The collective of negative stuff with Xbox taking so long to get off at 720p, them having to go hire Rainway, Microsoft, with master engineers, had to go hire Rainway. I ain't never heard of them before. It sounds like they sell ice cream and gloves on the internet. Rainway? They had to go to Rainway and get code so they can do Xbox streaming on the internet. I mean, or on the browser, rather. Even with that, even with Phil Spencer saying, would you ship that publicly about his own product and all the other stuff, the underwhelming rollout on the Xbox server blades for many. With all that collective saying that xCloud was going to launch retail with the Xbox Series X, with all that, I've never said that xCloud is doom and gloom. The collective of anything happening right now in these building phases, there is not enough evidence to prove that anybody is going to the wayside, especially we have a company that went bankrupt and they're still around. Try it, 30-day challenge. We're going to call it the KRZ challenge, the 30-day KRZ challenge. Try it. Give your praises, give your criticisms without speaking in absolutes about the state of any of these platforms, which none of us really know. We find what we want to find. I just had a conversation a couple days ago where somebody close to development said, hey, look, the amount of resources that Stadia is putting and working with development on the platform, it's crazy. It's like night and day from 6 months ago. All this doom and gloom that y'all get into on Twitter, that's for y'all to do on Twitter. You find what you want to find. Now today, you might find somebody that feels the opposite. Yeah, I hate working with Google. Yeah, Stadia was this, that, and the other. Excuse me, hold on 1 second. I had someone that claimed to be close to development at Stadia try to sell me a bag of goods several months ago based on Cyberpunk. The bag of goods was, Stadia realized how much of a failure, and I'm paraphrasing here, Stadia realized how much of a failure Cyberpunk was, that now they're looking to wind things down. I'm going to get more information and come back to you, let you know. But they're looking to wind things down. Little what this person knew was that I've been doing this for several years. I've gotten a hound dog's nose and sniffing out BS. Plus I have sources. You know what I'm saying? Like just stuff that I've been told that, I'll never be able to tell you. There's stuff that I've been told that I'm not going to be able to tell you yet. And there's stuff that I've been told that still has to be vetted before I even mention a peep. Just because someone said it, I'm not putting it out there. So when I heard that, but then I knew what I knew, that Cyberpunk was actually the antithesis of that for Stadia, meaning they saw what was happening there. They were looking at the data and they said, yo, yeah, maybe this whole internal development thing, maybe this trying to go back and forth with Xbox on the development side when they just dropped 7.5 billion. Like, that's the type of investment we got to make into this right now to keep up with them. Like, maybe that's not our meal ticket. We keep doing poll after poll after poll. And every time we do a poll, someone is telling us, hey, look, over exclusives, we want to see our favorite AAA games on this platform. That's what we want to see over everything. Maybe our investment is in the wrong areas. I mean, because look at what's possible with Cyberpunk. Now, I'm not saying that is the right strategy, but that was, in a nutshell, what they looked at. Cyberpunk was not the beginning of the end. it was the opposite. It was like, maybe our approach is wrong when it comes to this. I mean, think about it. They went from, at best, I think when they released in April of 2020, I think at best they may have had, I don't know, I want to say, I think they had like 60,000 engagements. And what was it in February? I mean, what was it in December? I think it was 600,000. Yeah, I think it was 600,000 engagements in December of 2020 because of Cyberpunk and Ubisoft Plus. And I think, and what's it called? Maybe 60 to 80,000 was the best month that they have seen up until that time. My numbers could be wrong. I got to double check them. So they went from their best month of engagements being 60 to 80,000, maybe higher than that, to going to 600,000. Is that right, y'all? Let me look it up real quick. Let me look it up. Sensor, we can do that. Sensor Tower data, Stadia, December 2020. Sensor Tower data, Stadia. Google Stadia breaks 3 million app downloads. Okay, so they talk about it here. Okay, let me show y'all what I'm looking at here. Let's show y'all. Okay, following in UK. So it was 500,000 downloads in December. I thought it was 600,000. I remember one of these stories like breaking it up odd. This might have been that story, 73%. So yeah, 500,000 downloads and engagements for the Stadia platform. A lot of you are new, so it's important to show you this again. It says, following this, this is as provided by marketing intelligence firm Sensor Tower, the U.S. led the way. Well, it says, hold on, alive and well, Google Stadia breaks through 3 million app downloads. And they talk about where they were at. 380,000, 262,000, I think we're in December. Am I looking at that right? There's one that just gives the exact number. Oh, that's YouTube. Xbox Game Pass. Let me see. This might have been it. Sensor Tower. No, that's old. Damn it. I can't find it. I think it was 500. Now let's check. I can't find it. That sucks. Okay. Now let's do this. Yeah, 3 breaking down. One of these. Okay, here it goes. What's most interesting is that the report is a boost that Stadia saw in late 2020. Apparently, in December of last year, app downloads for Stadia totaled 500,000 for just a single month. I don't know why I thought it was 600,000. Put it in context, though, it makes a good amount of sense. That's around the time of the launch of Cyberpunk 27 that shined the light on the cloud gaming service, as well as the arrival of Ubisoft Plus to 8 new countries in Europe. Okay, so you go from April, where I think you maybe saw 60 to 80,000, maybe a little bit more, to now you're seeing 500,000? And December was your biggest month, right? And your biggest month prior was 80,000. How did Stadia look at that and say, okay, we're going to close up shop? Number one, there's no data to suggest that Stadia was looking to do some big console numbers the first year. They fell, I believe Jason Schreier's reporting that they fell hundreds of thousands, and I think that hundreds of thousands was on the lower end, a couple hundreds of thousands. Because if it was on the higher end, Jason is a wordsmith. He's good at this. He would have said several hundreds of thousands. So hundreds of thousands, I think maybe was 2, maybe 3, possibly 4. I think it's very clear that they made that up here. They made that up in December. But again, a supposed insider was telling me, contacted me, thought I was green. I mean, I was wet-eared like many others. Because I know many others fell for that okie doke. Because many others were talking to me about that same stuff, not realizing that the individual reached out to me too. I just was quiet. I was like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, sure. So I can talk about this now. Because and once I talk about this, I got a message in regards to how we got to deal with all this silliness. So the same person reached out to me that reached out to these individuals. I know because I was having conversations with the individuals they reached out to, and they were giving me echoes of the same stuff that the individual was telling me. I just listened, and I was thinking to myself, golly, this is a young community. This is a young community, and we really don't know how to sniff stuff out. Jesus. I said, Jesus. It's okay. Just play dumb. And everything that I was told, the complete opposite happened in the contrary. I'm not going to name the names. I ain't going to do that because that's not the point. The point is that when it comes to these bombastic Stadia's dead sources, yes, are things discovered that may not be celebratory in the Stadia community. Like we'll talk about Tchia in a little bit. Yes, there are things that are discovered. But when you look at it from 5,000 feet, none of these individual instances show a serious breakdown overall in Stadia and them moving forward as a platform. They're hiccups. Just like Xbox has hiccups. They've had hiccups. They had a real big hiccup with the release of the Xbox Series Blades. We within some of the cloud gaming community might be like, well, it ain't that bad. Like I played this game and this was cool and I was playing. No. The general gaming community, who we were saying in regards, once they upgraded these server blades, we were saying that, oh my God, Stadia is going to be in trouble because this is going to make cloud gaming so fathomable to them. If anything, I'm going to be honest with you, if anything hurt the cloud community the most over the last several months, I'm going to say it's that. Like, even when Stadia closed down SG&E, that was an attack on Stadia. People were then like, see, Amazon still got exclusives. Yeah, Amazon still got some. Xbox, yeah, they still got. It was a downer on cloud gaming, but it was more or less a downer on Stadia. When Xbox migrated to those server blades, the Xbox Series X server blades, and the general gaming populace started to play on xCloud, that hurt cloud gaming because they then said, no, cloud gaming just don't work. And you ain't gotta believe me. Check the tracking. Xbox Cloud Gaming, xCloud, whatever the hell you want to put in there, is at the bottom. That hurt cloud gaming because I started talking to my friends, the big YouTubers and so forth, and they said, see, cloud gaming is trash. When SG&E dropped, they said, see, Google don't know what to do with Stadia. But when Xbox Cloud Gaming went down the way that it did, and it underwhelmed those that interacted with it, they said, oh, cloud gaming is trash. And even with that, I still say that Xbox Cloud Gaming is going to be fine in the long run. I'm just saying right now I do have concerns, and I'm disappointed at how bottom of the barrel the service is in comparison to its peers when you bounce it up against what Xbox been saying about cloud gaming since they started opening their damn mouths about it. So that's why when y'all say MM2K, I can't purge. Why do you keep talking about purging? I gotta listen to what's being said. I'm telling you that some of the sources that the Canoe people are talking about are the same source that tried to convince me that Cyberpunk 2077 was such a failure for Stadia. Then that's why they were closing shop. And they couldn't smell the BS coming from a mile away. I just was like, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, bucko. Yeah, I got you. I just played the game. And when I saw everybody else falling for it, I said, you know what? There's no reason for me to even open my mouth, expose it, say anything, because I'm just going to be the bad guy. I can show you better than I can tell you. And what have we showed you? Here on this very platform, we told you months in advance, Stadia is doubling down via word from Alphabet, that they're doubling down on the product. You're gonna see signs of massive support as far as Google's interest in Stadia via Alphabet, and that they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And what happened? We saw the Stadia keynote. Told you again on authority that developers, or people close to the development rather, side of the game are saying, look, it's like night and day. You know what I mean? Now, everybody may not have that feeling. You may have some people that feel otherwise. We're going to talk about Tchia in a second. But to say that overall things are rotting and things are going downhill over at Stadia, the evidence doesn't show that. You know what the evidence shows? That they have ups and downs like normal platforms. Like how Xbox had at the beginning. They're having the normal ups and downs. Everything that you hear is not going to be negative. Everything that you're going to hear is not going to be positive. But that's just the gaming business. If you think this little run-of-the-mill stuff that you're hearing about Stadia, them losing a game, you know what I'm saying? Even 2K support is questionable. If you think that's bad, I urge you to pick up Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. You ain't seen nothing. Pick up Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. Okay. So that's why I can ignore the canoe talk, because I understand the type of stuff that they cling to. I understand the type of unvetted stuff that they believe. And I also understand that even though when they do vet something, and it is true, and it might be negative about Stadia, how they tend to spread it, they add water to it and try to spread it all out and make it seem like that Stadia is rotten from the inside out, to only be proven wrong in the long term. That's why I can ignore them. So my message to you is that if you truly feel that this stuff is unwarranted, or if you truly feel that it's based off a lack of vetted information, or accurately vetted information, or an accurate portrayal of the overall situation at Stadia, if you think that's the case, then why are you still tuning in? Why are you still retweeting what's being said? Like, you all that do that, or you understand you're aiding and abetting their cause, because they know all they got to do is say some stuff, sprinkle a little bit of evidence in it, and y'all will go crazy. Y'all start scattering when roaches when the lights come on. Stop paying attention to it. Now I get it, the super far off stuff that gets legs. Yeah, go in and critique and rebut that. But every single thing that they're saying, let them talk. Let them enjoy their talk and let them enjoy their reality. That's why I've been quiet on most of this stuff for a long time. Who cares? It's all going to be proven wrong in the long term anyway. It's always been like that. And like I said, I understand the sources that they feed off of, because the same sources tried to hit me with the okie doke, and I said, whatever. But it's up to y'all. And the reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of people have come to me recently and they said, MM2K, I don't see you in the trenches anymore fighting the battles internally. There's no point. I don't need to. When you take the stuff that has been said and the things that have happened, they've debunked themselves. Why are you still listening to them? What is it that you want me to do? You gotta wake up and smell reality one time. If you're enjoying the platform, if you're enjoying what you get, or even if you have some reservations, but you feel like that the platform is going on a good path, and overall you enjoy it, why are you listening to anybody on the periphery trying to tell you otherwise when they don't have a sustained factual evidence to the contrary? Before Gamescom, we told y'all, look, Stadia is going to put their heads down. They're going to do the hard work. They're trying to get the games that we want on the platform. I didn't say they was going to pop up overnight, because they didn't say that. But I told y'all, we told y'all, don't expect to be seeing a lot of logos at E3 and so forth. We told y'all that. And the canoe people came out and said, oh, there ain't no logos. And y'all went crazy. I can't get mad at them. They're going to do what they're going to do. You got to start questioning your own veracity as far as following and sticking to the truth. What is it that you want me to do? I already told you, don't go there. Don't go in that beer cave. That beer is going to maul you. If you mosey in the beer cave, I'm not going in there after you. I'm going to pray for you outside of the cave. Stop going to the sources that routinely debunk themselves and spreading misinformation that you feel they're spreading if that's how you truly feel. This is all I see. Goop, goop, goop. Oh, this is horrible. This tastes nasty. Goop, 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 goop. What is it that you want me to do? I'm going to go after the big ticket sources that have reach, that are spreading misinformation to people where people wouldn't be the wiser. You guys should be the wiser to this stuff right now. If you're not, I don't know, do you want to be involved in the drama? What is it? So, I can no longer help out in that realm. That's why a lot of this stuff you don't see me participating in, conversating in. I used to be in it every day. I used to get up and see the stuff like, hold on, that's not right. No, let them do their own thing. They got their own thing for their own reasons going on. Let them do it. God bless them. But now I got to ask you the question. Why do you keep going back if you feel that's what they're doing? Why? It makes no sense. I gotta make sure my wife ain't called me. I'm sitting there yelling and screaming. Hold on 1 second. No, she ain't called me yet. Good. All right. Let's talk about Tchia, man. Okay. So, well, let me get to the chat. Let's get to the chat. Let's work our way back up to the chat. Christopher Torres says, wow. I mean, what else is there to say? Laugh out loud. Charles Aran says, I started muting doom and gloom people, to be honest. Yeah. Christopher Torres says, M2K true. If you feel that way, why come around? I know for sure I don't like a product or service, then why continue to come around to their YouTube channel? Yeah, it don't make any sense, bro. I'm sorry, it don't make any sense. I mean, at some point in time, you got to ask yourself, if you're this negative about a platform, if you're this, I mean, there's nobody we know in real life that's this negative about something, but they keep coming to it. If they keep coming to it and they keep talking about the thing that they're negative about, then you got to understand that the commodity that they're interested in is not the product or service. The commodity that they're interested in is you. You're the commodity that they're interested in. And what do I mean? What do I mean by you're the commodity that they're interested in? I mean that your reactions, your displeasure, your cascading, their canoe talk is what they keep coming back for. Because I know, and I know that you know, that if you don't like something, you leave it alone. Like, let me give you guys an example. Now, one product or service that I think, even though it's still around, that a lot of us feel like maybe in dire straits is Shadow. And guess what? Because of that, nobody talks about Shadow anymore. Hardly, I mean, you might hear peeps here and there, but Shadow don't get the focus that it used to. Ever since it hit bankruptcy, don't nobody talk about Shadow. Right? So Stadia is such in a doom and gloom situation. If they're in such a bad spot, if they're losing so many people every day, if they're in a dire situation like what Shadow's in, why is it the main thing that these people are talking about? Why? It's not because the commodity that they care about is Stadia. The commodity that they care about is the community, which is you. They need you to push the canoe talk that they're bringing up. And it's up to you, the commodity, to stop acting like a commodity and wise up and leave it alone. That's it, unless you want to be involved in that stuff. If you want to be involved in that, then keep doing it. But for those of you that are like, why do these people keep saying this? Why do they keep doing it? They're doing it because they know you're going to get they're going to get a reaction out of it from you. You're the commodity. I've never seen a situation where people totally disagree with the sentiments that are coming on. Well, no, I'm lying. I'm totally lying. I see it in politics all the time. And the thing about politics is, when it comes to your Fox Newses or your MSNBCs or whatever, have you ever noticed that they regularly will have people on from opposing views? And it's not because they want to give them a fair chance to talk. They don't give them fair chances to talk. They cut them off. They do all types of stuff. They have 5-to-1. They have people that disagree with them. They do that because they're lingering off the hope that opposing viewpoint group has. That, oh, my person that I support is on that show. They're going to give it to all 5 of those people, only for them to be disappointed 99% of the time. It's the same game at play here. You are clinging on to the hope that you're going to out-argue, out-debate these entities into believing what you believe. And it's not going to happen. A lot of times this stuff is only being stated because you are the commodity. They want you to spread that message. They don't care if it's factually sound. They don't care if there's backup to it. The engagement with the commodity is getting you riled up. So when you get riled up and you start spreading that rhetoric, job done. They can care less. You can go pull out this and pull out that and show this and show that, and they don't care. They don't care about the background of facts behind what's being said. You're aiding and abetting. You're enabling. Stop it. If you truly are outraged over what's being said, then back away from it and don't engage. Randy B says, preach. I used to work in marketing and Stadia, working on first-party title and also trying to bring third-party games is not a smart move. Yeah. I always question the move, Randy B, from the beginning. COVID happening would have effect on SG&E. Either the bill has already caused and that would have added even more to it. Yeah. $200 million to produce AAA titles. So if you suppose Stadia member numbers, that math puts you at a loss. So it makes sense to, yeah. If you look at the math that Jason Schreier helped to release, okay, you either spend $200 million to make a game, and those are current figures. Those aren't the figures that it's going to cost for these games to release, because even Jade Raymond told us that in 5 years we weren't going to see their Stadia's equivalent to the Breath of the Wild for 5 years. All right. So you talk about X amount of money to build XYZ game. That's $200 million that can be broken up over 10 games to port 10 games over here, or to send X amount of technicians to help develop games. Now, again, this decision was made earlier in 2020. You know, we're not seeing the fruits of that new initiative yet, as of yet. Well, I don't know what's going to come at the end of the year. Now, that I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have that information. I know other great content creators say there's some stuff that they've seen. I remember listening to Sunny Cloud Gaming. Shout out to him. He had said that there was some stuff that he had seen that's coming. That's for later. I think he said later in the year that he can't talk about or whatever. Now those were definitely sources that I listen to. You know what I'm saying? Like Sunny Cloud Gaming is your favorite content creator's favorite content creator. You know what I mean? So I definitely would take what he's saying at full value. So with that being said, yeah, I don't know what's coming at the end of the year, but yeah, you know, you're going to see the fruits of that labor, I think, more or less start to show up next year and further. You know what I'm saying? Because it takes time to develop games. We're still in the middle of COVID. We're still dealing with chip shortages. We're still dealing with a lot of stuff. Then you compound this redheaded stepchild, which is Stadia, now wants us to stop what we're doing in the midst of all this, trying to keep our lights on to give them a game. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be some complexities to this, but they're still going to be fine. But yeah, to Dev the Gamer, 1,010%, I'm with you. Victor Del Maestro said, it's a pattern. Who's next? He said, Boozer went to Google Cloud just this week. He says, I'm actually concerned that Stadia is about to be consumed by Google Cloud, by the way. Okay, so let me put it like this. Here's my concern. Am I still going to be able to play games, current and future games, via the Stadia tech? That's my concern. And will I be able to do it in a retail fashion similar to what we're seeing here? Like, is Google going to, in a retail fashion, have a way for me to play current and future games using the Stadia tech? I'm not talking about the white label. I'm talking about, is Google going to host something? I see no evidence of that concern. This is where I got to get into the Fortune 500 talk, and I'm not trying to be facetious, Vic, but we're going to break it down. I don't care if Stadia ends up becoming YouTube gaming, gets integrated there or whatever, because in order, it makes, I've seen out there on social media, that's why I don't even respond. I just, play my games, create the content, and talk to the people that are within a fathomable realm. I've seen concerns out there that if Stadia gets absorbed by YouTube, it's over. That absolutely makes no sense to me, because what's the purpose of absorbing it into YouTube? It's so people can play games that they want to play with their favorite content creators. So Stadia doesn't become fruitful. That effort doesn't become fruitful at all if Stadia is just dealing with grime and Orcs Must Die 3 if they get no new games. That makes no sense. It becomes fruitful to merge it with YouTube if I can sit there and say, okay, well, PewDiePie is paying Battlefield 2092 now. You want to play with him? He's going to send you some click-to-play codes. Be there at 7 p.m. Eastern. So they got to bring new games over. That whole point doesn't even make any sense to me. So that's not a fathomable concern, and I don't hear any chatter on that whatsoever. All I hear is people not in the know just throwing anything at the wall as far as concerns are concerned. But here's why the moves from Jack Buser and everybody does not concern me. Hold on one second. So the way things work in the Fortune 500 world is you have a project. You create a project. Let me give you an example. I can't name the name of this project, but for my job, there was a project for us to get a more automated call center. And I was integral in that project because one of the teams that I managed was our call center, but I didn't head that project. That project was headed by another lady. We'll call her D. Lady by the name of, or D. We'll call her Diana. Was headed by Diana. So what I would do is on a weekly basis, I would sit with Diana. I would give her my expertise over what would be needed in this automated system. I would also lend my knowledge of working in SQL and stuff like that, and to get the project underway to get it working and to get it into a state to where it's about to be rolled out. And there was a whole team behind it. It was Diana, I'm gonna call the guy Phil, and Johnny, you know, and there were several other people in our IT department that was working to create this. And these were the faces of that project, along with myself, right? So when the project was ready to roll out, the first time, because it had to go through several iterations, I talked about this before, there was a problem, we had to re-roll it out. But that's not the case here, so I'm not going to go into that part of it. But when it was ready to roll out, they handed me the keys. They said, MM2K, here you go. Thing is done. We're going to go on and work on other stuff. We had these roles, who you're going to pick to replace Johnny and Bill and myself, because I was the project manager and I took the role as a liaison. But I'm done now. I got to go on to the next project. Here goes who's going to be your liaison person now. And that's what I had. And we went through a conversion from the project team that was running this to my team that would be running it. So Victor, stuff like this happens all the time. Like Jack Buser, if you think about it, they just said he was the head of games. What does that even mean? They told you in that article that they have a game relationship person already over at Stadia, right? So his role, the way it was set up, was just tentative for the moment, or maybe it could have been a longer term role, but the way it was established was it was easy to slip him out, or either slip somebody in, or have somebody that was reporting to him just take the reins. It happens all the time. So that means that Stadia officially went like Maj Bakar. Once Maj Bakar was done, he rolled. It's no longer in the project phase anymore. It's now in our major platform phase, where they mentioned it several times with the other cloud platforms. So yeah, all this concern because he left. Again, I'm not saying I know exactly what's going on in the boardroom. Here's what I'm saying. That these things that you guys are pulling out as signs to be concerned about just shows a lack of understanding of how things work behind the scenes in the Fortune 500 world. It just went from a project status to now it's starting to become a more, this is a pillar tier status. And that's why it was mentioned several times in the report. It happens all the time in the Fortune 500 world. So there's no reason to be concerned because Jack Buser was head of games. I've never heard of that title, head of games. What does that even mean? Jack Buser was head of games. He got rolled out. You got to understand how things work in the Fortune 500 world. It happens all the time. And if anything, Vic, anybody else who may feel this way, and I'm letting you know from experience, I'm not going to steer y'all wrong. If I'm concerned about something, I'm going to say it. Just like when I was concerned about the SG&E thing, I said it. When I was concerned about the 60 frames per, or I am concerned about the 60 frames per second thing, I'm going to say it. But I'm going to pivot off of my experience, my knowledge, and facts, and not just off of emotion. I'm here to tell you that based off of just that, there's no need to be concerned. The people that were there at the beginning, they've moved on, and that's fine because they've either moved on because they probably weren't doing a good enough job. So after some interior things happened, they rolled, whether it was mutual or whether it was pushed, I don't know. Stadia changed its course, so there was no role for those people anymore. And they're now that they've submitted what the platform means to their overall business, they can better utilize people in different spots. I'll give you another example. I had a manager that worked under me that, like, she was great at what she did. She was fantastic, superb. And we were going through a reflection point where the area that she managed had suffered some losses or whatever. They had some synergies there. And synergy is an industry term for they laid people off. Bunch of stuff was going on, but it wasn't because of her. It was just because of the business trend. They figured that they needed to realign some things, and then she got hit the hardest because of that. Now, during this phase, they took her and put her in in another database area, and what she dealt with a lot of data in her role, and they needed someone with her expertise to handle more data. But because of the type of data that she dealt with, was critical, but it was very complicated, and people were always confused, and we were always getting numbers wrong, and it was messing up stuff with our clients. So she was great in being able to break down that data, some of the most complicated data in the department, and there was a need for someone who had access to breaking down this data to have a bigger role. It doesn't mean that the area that she left went down the crapper. It meant that because of her experience with that area, they can utilize her on a bigger scale. It doesn't mean that the area wasn't important. It even made it better because now we got somebody from that area that understands that data that can handle all of our data. So now we ain't got to worry about clients being upset anymore. See, that's Fortune 500 thinking that we don't have as gamers. That's why people think I'm trying to be a smart ass when I say things like, y'all need to pick up Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We really do, because we're not connected to why these decisions are being made. And if you're not connected to why these decisions are being made, then you're just throwing things against the wall because you don't understand how things operate. And then everybody's confused, and then it's the blind leading the blind. And then we start believing crap like Cyberpunk 2077 was so horrible for Stadia, that's why they're closing shop. Then we start believing that garbage. And then we start believing anything else. There'll be a story tomorrow. There might be a story today. This not so great thing happened with Stadia. Oh, it's over. Like there ain't normal up and downs with all these companies. Every day I can pull out something bad or good with any of these companies. It doesn't just mean something when it's bad for Stadia. So I can understand the concern, Victor, but what I'm telling you is that this is a sign of the platform maturing. If you look at everything from 5,000 feet, Alphabet, this is what I can tell you, undeniably, Alphabet has gone to Google and Stadia and said, get in the trenches with these developers. We're upping the ante on where we play Stadia. They're upping the ante. So get into there. And they knew, and they wouldn't be saying this to Google and Stadia thinking that this would be impactful in like 3 months. No, they understand this is a long-term goal or a long-term shift that they're making to improve the platform and improve its outreach. So they say, get in the trenches with these devs and do more. Then they roll off this whole new incentive thing for Stadia Pro. They do all this stuff to cement the foundation of the platform. And they're moving people in strategic places to where they are announcing the platform on a bigger stage. And y'all are just looking at bodies. What y'all don't understand about business is full of cogs. That whenever a business changes its form, the cogs are moved around to different places. Just because a cog is moved doesn't mean that it's no longer of use. All the cogs must remain in order for all the wheels to move. That's how you got to look at a business, as particularly a Fortune 500 business. So just because a body moves, that's not indicative of trouble. Or even a few bodies move, that's not indicative of trouble. Every year, it's just elementary for these businesses. Every year, Our management team will be shifted around every year because either somebody new was in charge, they wanted to try to do it a different way and all that. No, it's not symptomatic of a problem. You got to look at everything. When you look at everything, the fact that Alphabet gave that order, what Fortune 500 company gives an order like that and expects things to turn around in 3 to 6 months? No, it doesn't. That belief within itself, that's why I said I got to do the research. That belief within itself shows why there's a disconnect and why this community is more acceptable to a lot of this BS. And the best thing for this community is when you're smelling the BS, just get away from it. Because if you indulge in it too long, you're going to smell like it too. It's BS. You came and told me Cyberpunk 2077. I said, from the get-go. From the get-go, I was like, yo, who brought this rabbit-ass fool to me? Is this a joke? Am I on the camera? I ain't on camera. I ain't allowed to get on camera yet. What is this? So because a lot of that rabbit foolery, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to blow my nose live on air, is embedded within a lot of this canoe talk, I just purged. I said, this is the type of, I don't even want to, it's arguing against something when there's a completist agenda, and it's not about spreading facts or coming to a fathomable understanding of certain things. It's just about ginning up emotions, and you're feeding it, and you guys are feeding into it. Now, not you, Vic. I know. I went back to the prior subject, but he says, I'm listening to you and playing Destiny 2 on my PC with Ethernet. That's what's up. Stadia is getting started. KB, I ain't gonna highlight you today, brother. I love you, brother. I ain't gonna pick on you today. But I'm gonna let you live today, brother. Because I ain't even covered Tchia yet. All right, so let's talk about Tchia. All right, so we talked about Luna, and I said I wasn't going to ramble, but it just that part of it just got to me, and I know this is going to sound cheesy and salty, but it fell on my heart. It fell because I was holding that in for a while. It fell on my heart. I was like, MM2K, now was the time. Now was the time to let the community know, and it's not fair. Well, MM2K, it's so easy for you to disregard it or whatever. Why are you disregarding it? Why don't you interact like you used to and get in the trenches and fight them out? Because I know who they're listening to. I know their sources. I know they've been hoodwinked. I was there when there were communications happening and people were talking and they were naming this information from this fraudulent source, and they thought they hit the jackpot. And they never backed away from the source. They continued to amplify the source, despite all that. That's when I knew that I was dealing with a situation that it wasn't about facts. It wasn't about spreading the truth. It wasn't about informing gamers. There was something else going on. What that else is, I won't get into that here. We'll say that for a later time. But when I realized that was what was going on, I said, okay. I said, okay, it's time for me to unplug. It's time for me to back away from this. It's time for me to continue to make sure that we continue to do what we said we was going to do, which was spread facts, spread knowledge, and help people with their purchasing decision. But we're going to back away from this because either there's people are too wet behind the ears, or they want to believe this stuff because there's something else going on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's talk about Tchia. So I'm with my bro Sean L. I didn't even know the game existed either, man. But I'm not going to be rude here. Let me show off a little bit. I'm not going to be rude to those because the homie The homie topic 2. The laws. I'm gonna show y'all some stuff about Tchia. Tchia that I think will settle this BS. The less of Tchia. No, that's not right. Y'all gotta still bear with me. I'm trying to show off and I ain't even showing off right. Topic 2, the loss of Tchia. Okay. So let's talk about it. All right. Cool looking game. Definitely cool looking game. And it's a bummer to see it go. You know, looks like a solid game from what we've seen. I don't know, because we do know that via evidence that I believe is factual, that's come from I think his name is Lee of Stadia Source. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, but I'll just say courtesy of Stadia Source, because the information that Stadia Source was able to confirm that the backing away from Tchia was originated from Stadia. So we don't know if because SG&E was winding down and Stadia made some decisions and looked at that game and saw it and said, you know what, we don't want to support, we don't know what the reason is. And they mutually agreed. And thank goodness they were able to find a deal with Epic and PlayStation of all people. That's great. So they hit the jackpot. I mean, I won't say they hit the jackpot, but they probably did. So that's great. That's fantastic. It was you know, maybe a sad situation that worked itself out in the long run. I haven't seen anybody attacking the devs, which that shouldn't even, you know, that doesn't even have to be mentioned as far as I'm concerned. But if you are, don't do crazy stuff like that. But again, there are crazies in every community. All I can say, you know, everybody's not going to listen to me. Like even when I hit stop streaming on this, y'all still going to go back and y'all going to engage with those same sources. Like I never said anything, like nothing I said made any sense. I mean, that's y'all God-given right. Y'all are adults. I'm not your master. I'm not one of those content creators that sit there and try to tell you, you know, you're a horrible person because you don't do this or that. I may get excited, I may yell, but you know, again, this is the KRZ. This is the Keep It Real Zone. I'm trying to underscore the seriousness of what I'm saying here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so when that happened, they were able to establish a new relationship, and that's great. Now, with all that said, does this game have any substantial bearing on the future of Stadia, whether it stays or goes? Again, this is the KRZ. Okay. And for those of you that don't know what the KRZ, welcome to the KRZ. The KRZ stands for Keep It Real Zone. Again, I'm not trying to crap on indie games. I'm not trying to make it seem like that they don't matter. I don't want to say something that you know, makes it seem like that I'm insensitive to Stadia building its catalog. And again, it does look interesting from the shots that we've seen. You know, I don't know. It could have been a good game. We'll find out when it releases on PlayStation 5. That being said, this game doesn't have any substantial bearing on Stadia. Stay or not. If you go out on Twitter, right, and you type in Tchia, you'll find from yesterday where a lot of people that saw it was like, "Oh, that's a cool looking game." Da 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 da. A big chunk of that rhetoric is from us talking about it. But yeah, you could try that exercise and see it. But here's the reality of it. Let me show you something. So let me make this bigger for the people in the back. So here's what's trending on Twitter. Now, if something is impactful and has long-term ramifications, it's going to trend for more than a day. We've already been there. Like, remember when Alex Hutchinson said what he said, and I told people, I said, look, I'm looking at the tracking, I'm looking at various sources. I don't see this being a big story. And I was told, no. This is going to kill Stadia for a very long time. Remember that? And remember when I said, look, no, I don't see it. Who was right on that equation? The facts were, not me, the facts. And all I did was regurgitate the facts. Here are the facts. When you look at the top 50 things trending on Twitter, I don't see Tchia up there at all. Tchia was on the world's biggest stage. At the PlayStation Showcase. And I don't see it. As a matter of fact, let's see here. Oh, it's not even up here anymore. Oh no, here it goes. Alan Wake. Old ass Alan Wake that's being remade. Alan Wake is up here and Tchia isn't. And if you don't believe me, let's do this. Uh-oh. As y'all can hear, I just typed it in, and well, y'all can't hear it because y'all can't hear the desktop make the noise. Tchia is not here. Again, not taking away anything from the game. Yes, people, you could go on Twitter and see, oh, I really like this game. This blew it away for me and all this other stuff, right? And you can go and see Yoshida tweeting it because this is Yoshida especially. Yoshida now in his new role probably had a very big role to play in the game coming to PlayStation. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if when the deal was cut off between Stadia and Tchia, the developers, I wouldn't be surprised if Phil Harrison didn't get on the phone with Yoshida. Him and Yoshida had a real close relationship over at PlayStation. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't get on the phone with Tchia and say, hey, look, man, we're going down a new path. We're going down, but there's this really interesting game down here. I know your new role. Look, let's go take a look at it and see if it's something that you want for PlayStation. Him and Yoshida had a very close role at PlayStation. Him and Yoshida, after his team discovered it, Phil Harrison and Yoshida signed off on the contract for Naughty Dog. They were really close there. So, on the world's biggest stage, it got light on the world's biggest stage. Some people were interested, and again, it's good that it's going to PlayStation. But this talk, like Tchia, was this huge thing that is galvanizing our community right now because it's not coming. I mean, yeah, it's a bummer to see it go, but it wasn't moving the needle. Most of us that are arguing about this game now didn't even realize this damn game was coming, including myself. Including myself. I didn't know the damn game was coming. Sean L., I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know what game existed. Doesn't have no substantial bearing on the future of Stadia. It just sucks to see the game go. But the length and the breadth of this rhetoric, this doom and gloom rhetoric is taking, does not match what we're talking about. Again, it was on the world's biggest stage yesterday. It's not even in the top 50 trending. Damn well every other thing that was there is. Let's look at it. PlayStation, Wolverine, Spider-Man 2, God of War, KOTOR, Insomniac, Sony, Project Eve, Venom, GTA 5, Forspoken, Deathloop, Alan Wake, Kratos, Gran Turismo, Uncharted. Uncharted is up there again. GTA 5, Ghostwire Tokyo, Miles Morales. Damn well everything, every segment of every other game on that platform, damn well is up here. Tchia isn't. It's new IP. Now that's not to say that the game isn't going to be good, that the game doesn't matter. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the audio don't match the visuals. We are in an uproar about a game that most of us, let's keep it real, this is the keep it real zone. So let's keep it real. We're in an uproar about a game that most of us didn't even know about until articles started coming out about it. And that did not make an impact on the stage, really, that it was on. I'm going to take it even further. You see this here? This is Tchia. That's the tracking. That's the game that's not coming to Stadia that I'm gonna be honest, I wish it was coming. I wish it looks cool and whatever. And I wish it was coming for the people that want to play it. But let's do something here. Let's put a game on here that is here. Let me do this. Hold on 1 second. All right. Wanted to make sure my wife wasn't calling me. Oh, shucks. So let's look at the game that is here. Now, granted, at the height of the showcase, Tchia got a 48 when it was being shown. Life is Strange got a 43. Look what's happened since then. And look what's happened with Life is Strange. Now that's a game that is here. Okay? And Life is Strange being on Stadia is not going to have some type of long-term systemic impact. So the point of this is to say a lot of you too much are playing too much Twitter and not enough games. You're sitting there aiding and abetting and being the commodity that the canoe people want you to be, instead of playing the games that you have on this platform that you claim that you enjoy. If you spend a lot less time doing that, being a commodity, being an ear-tagged cow for the canoe people, and was playing the games that you should be playing, you would be following the trend of the majority of the people out there. Because of the fact of the matter is, like it's been said by a very wise person, a lot of this doom and gloom and a lot of this crazy stuff is just spread by a handful of people or a few dozen people on Twitter, and then they get to Stadia Reddit all riled up as well. But for any of the few dozen people that get upset at Stadia and like, oh, this is it, hell no, we won't go, Stadia gets up to 1,000 more a day. Now, those aren't the largest numbers in the world. But again, this is a 1% business. So those numbers are great for a 1% business. Just get out of Look, this is getting out of control. This is getting out of control. And my message to you all, let me do this so y'all can see it a little bit better. Now y'all can see the chart a little bit better. My message to you all is stop being the ear tag commodity for the canoe people. They have every God-given right to say what they want to say, how they want to say it, as long as it doesn't violate laws and rules of said platform or isn't going into a land of creepiness or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Let them say what I am not trying to trample on their freedoms to say whatever they want to say. But that don't mean that you got to pay attention, especially if you don't agree with it. You ain't got to listen to me. You ain't got to listen to nobody. So if you really are repulsed or upset or disgusted by the stuff that you're hearing, stop aiding it. When you hear it, what it does is it hits your emotions. And because it hits your emotions, it causes you to react and you peddle the message for them better than they ever could. We got a game on here right now that when you compare it to the game that we're fussing about is exploding in traction. Go and play that game. How about you try that first? Go and play that game and then continue to watch this trend line. And then tell me how much of an impact you think the game is going to have. Now, I get it. If you're one of the rare people, well, there's nothing wrong with that. If you were one of the rare few who was tracking this game, who was really watching it, who was really excited about the game, and really wanted to see this game come to the platform, because you get like, man, like, it was like, I want to say, for me, the game like that for me was Cyberpunk. And y'all remember when I said last year, if Cyberpunk don't drop damn date on Stadia, I'm just gonna play. I'm gonna get it elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that's gonna be an oopsie on Stadia. You know what I'm saying? So, like how I was about Cyberpunk for Stadia, if you were like that about this game, that's different. I'm not discrediting or dismissing you. But those of y'all that want to have arguments online about this game that wasn't even on y'all radar, y'all didn't even know it was coming to the platform. How about you try this? Again, it's another challenge. I gave my 30-day challenge earlier. Try to talk and critique or praise Stadia without talking doom and gloom about any of these cloud platforms unless there's evidence of such. How about you try this? Take a game that's on Stadia versus a game that you hear that's not coming, and try the game if it's tracking higher. Just go to Google Trends. That is tracking. It's not the entire tracking story, but it's a good swath of it to go check engagement. And if you're upset about a game not coming to the platform, go check out a game that is on the platform that you haven't played and check out the tracking. And if that game is tracking higher than the one that you're so upset about, give it a try. It might divert your attention. It might divert your energy and make you realize maybe you was wasting your time. Waving your closed fist at the lawn of social media. Just saying. Just put it out there. Those are my thoughts. I still got time. My wife ain't called me. So we'll see what's going on. Hold on one second. Let me just make sure she ain't called me. Nope, she ain't called me yet. Let's go to the chat and then we'll close out. Let me put that back up there. I appreciate y'all for dealing with me too and hearing me out. My last live session, I think we were a little bit more interactive. You know, but I just had to say that because really this is going to be honestly the last time I address things on this nature. Content creators or whoever got the right to make and create whatever they want to. And I'm not here to infringe on that right. but I'm not going to elevate it if I don't feel like that. Like, we're here to pivot off of facts, educate people, and celebrate the things that we enjoy about Stadia. We're going to have the tough conversations too, like we have here. You know what I'm saying? Like, can nobody say that we don't have the tough conversations? Like, when we have the tough conversations, they get escalated. Like, we got people talking about that 60 frames per second last week. You know what I mean? It ain't about that. What it's about is, if I'm a supporter of said platform, yeah, I can critique it. Absolutely, you're gonna critique it. But if you support something, you don't constantly echo its doom and gloom, and then pull it out and start playing it and say, okay, well, no, I support it. Because those are signs of people that don't really support the platform, but they support you, your time and your energy. If you want to be involved with supporters of the platform, then only engage with supporters of the platform. Or I want to say only engage, but put the bulk of your effort in supporters of the platform. You can't support something constantly speaking its doom and gloom based off of emotion, when the facts don't support those emotions. That's not a supporter of the platform. Now, if I'm a shadow gamer and I love shadow PC and I see that they filed for bankruptcy, I'm like, oh, this ain't looking good. Oh man, I wish, can they do this or can they? That's different. They're in a dire situation. That was a dire situation. That's different. I get a lot of the rhetoric around SG&E, the doubts around it. But we're several months removed from that, and we're still hearing that same level of doom and gloom over every single thing that's released. Every platform has its ups and downs. I'm going to turn off, I guarantee you, I'm going to turn this off, and there's going to be something else about Stadia, good or bad. That's just the regular plays of a platform. What you got to do is make the decision, am I going to aid and abet the false supporting narratives? Or am I going to be someone that's truly focused on supporters of the platform? I can't go to them anymore. It's not for me to address them anymore. I'm going to the root of the problem now. The root of the problem are the people that still want to engage in that when there's no evidence behind it. There is no point. They're allowed to have the little clubhouse and let them have it. You just got to be the smarter consumer. All right? And with that said, let's get to our comments. What was your challenge against this, Charles Rent? My two challenges were the damn, I done forgot already. What was the first challenge? The first challenge was let's talk about cloud gaming for 30 days without echoing that any of them are in trouble long term. Because the facts don't support it nowhere. They don't. Like I've talked to people close to development. They tell me it's like night or day in a positive way versus in regards to what Stadia is doing. I can guarantee you I can go, if I'm really looking for a disgruntled developer, I can go find a disgruntled developer that might tell me something different because the deal didn't go right with Stadia. That's not widespread across the company, especially when you can find more instances of the former than the latter. So that's you know what I'm saying? That's issue number one, is let's talk about all of these platforms without spreading the doom and gloom. Hold on, this is my wife. Hold on. All right. And secondly, the other one was don't do the let's look for a game. If we're upset that a said game is not on the platform or is not coming to the platform as far as we know at the moment, try looking at the catalog, find a game that has more engagements that people may be enjoying more overall, and try that game on the platform. You might find out, like for instance, so I'm gonna do this real quick. Damn it. Let me do this real quick again. For the people that are upset about Tchia, we got a game on the platform right now, Life is Strange, that when you look at the tracking, even the time of the showcase, the world's biggest stage, all the eyes were on it, it only slightly edged Life is Strange True Colors. After that, look at that. Life is Strange decimated it. And I bet you a lot of you haven't played Life is Strange that's engaging in this conversation. Try out Life is Strange. Play it. It might be enough to divert you from suffering from this doom and gloom panic as well. So those are my two challenges. All right. We're going to take a couple more questions. I got to get out of here. She just called me. Hold on. I'm going to do a scene. Okay. Ron Slusher says, we got Riders Republic and X-Define coming to hell with. Don't do that. I love Alan Wake. That was like one of my favorite 360 games. Christopher Torres says, definitely. Well, I think like 7 max, but you're right. It's crazy. Randy B says, facts, bro. I have so many games I broke. Yeah, there's so many games out there. It's like getting ridiculous that we have in our backlog. And we're worried about these games that ain't even, you know what I'm saying? Like, this was a coming to Jesus moment that I think we needed. Shout out to Dev the Gamer. Says, Alan Wake, laugh. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, Alan Wake is there. And I love Alan Wake, but come on, man. That game is 800 years old. That game needs Polydent. And that's on there. She ain't on there. Like, what is we doing here? Sean L said, hell no. Let me see what else we got here. All right, let me get one more. Victor says, thanks for your thoughts. Keep them coming. You as well, Vic. You know, look, this is, and again, we have the difference of opinions conversations here. We can have them. And Victor Del Maestro, we had to deal with that before, Vic, where, you know, people thought maybe you were a Stadia denier. And I'm like, no, Vic ain't no Stadia denier. He voices his concerns. But Vic don't do the doom and gloom stuff, man. He voices his concerns, but he don't do the doom and gloom. And Vic been a supporter since day one. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, though. But I want to thank everybody for coming out here. Like I said, I know I was in rare form today, and I promise y'all, like I said, I'm not going to give the canoe talk energy. I'm going back to that mode. But man, this was just, I don't get it. I had to really like speak to y'all to let y'all understand that the big bad wolf ain't them anymore. It's starting to become y'all that keep cascading their crap. Stop cascading their crap. If you think it's crap, stop cascading it. By you continuing to cascade that stuff, maybe deep down inside you believe it. And maybe what you're looking for is MM2K to kind of be the defense to make you not believe it anymore. Maybe deep down inside you believe it. And I'm here to tell you, there are just some stuff that I cannot interact with because it's a waste of time. We're trying to educate people. I'm not going to sit there and be out there in the trenches going against every uneducated thing. And I'm telling y'all, a lot of them sources that they listen to come from individuals that tried to tell me that Cyberpunk 2077 did horribly for Stadia and they were about to close up shop because of it. That's who they're listening to. That's why I just backed away. If you want to be in that cesspool as far as misinformation, you go right ahead. I got to inform the masses. I'm not going to be battling them. They have the right to say what they want to say, where they want to say it, how they want to say it. So do we. All right? So with that said, I want to say peace to everybody. Peace and blessings. Y'all all have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.